Hey, Jinder. Wow. It's been quite a journey tonight. First of all, HiRobot is down. Let's refresh. Oh, they knew I was streaming, so they were kind enough to bring it back for me. I was working off of. Oh, somebody report a Team Cup score for me? Possible cheat. I don't think this. HiRobot Team Cup 2021 iGPU 3D Mark Skydiver. They should be a little bit more clear about this being GTs only. I mean, I'm not cheating. I'm literally just uninformed in the sense that the stage does. I mean, GPU in brackets. Am I supposed to just telepathically know from that it's the graphics score only? Okay, let's look at everyone else. 9,100. So that's an 8.5 total. Okay, I'll just edit my score. I thought it was. So this is how unclear this stage description is. I thought it was GTs only, was ready to sub GTs only, then looked at the stage description and thought, wow, I'm wrong. It's actually overall score. Okay. Fair enough. So at least they kindly told me what score I should be writing down there. 5178. Edit. Probably can't even do it because it's part of a comp. Yeah, someone else has. Okay, so today I wanted to do some iGPU benching because that's what I had on the bench rig. And I've got this lovely little Wi-Fi board. But I think my OS and so on had different plans because I couldn't get the clocks working. So I suppose I could have thrown the ASRock board in there, but that's not it's not great either. That's the only other board I have. All the gigabytes have this weird issue where setting clocks doesn't do anything. Let's adjust my chiller. I think 18 degrees is enough. So two. As if anyone. The funny thing is too. That doesn't even change the rankings inside of that comp. Like, what are people like? How boring are people's lives when they look at other people's scores? I mean, OCN won the comp by 30 points. That one report doesn't do anything in terms of rankings within the stage. Never mind overall. As I just spill beer. So this is Yuli's Brew, sponsored by Audio Technica somehow. Karaoke Kingju, Japanese rice lager. Tastes exactly how it sounds. Well, that's okay. So let's start a little. I really want a screenshotting utility though. So this is a new OS because I killed the old OS with DDU. I should really note that down somewhere that DDU on AMD drivers with iGPU is not a fun time. Okay, so I need a oh, man, nothing's working. So this is an A10 7700K. I wish people put their you know, put their sort of creative juices to work on something constructive rather than reporting a score. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, it's the sort of thing that would have been moderated anyway. I don't know if I would report someone else's score that way because it just seems so redundant. Sorry, I just got locked out of my own NAS somehow. How are you doing anyway, Ginger? So, okay, maybe it's an overreaction just because I saw it just now, but where's the stage? So, this is the stage, right? I mean, it's my own dumb fault sort of thing, but this is the stage. I thought this stage, so I benched this stage thinking it was GTs only. Then I was trying to submit for the first time. I looked at the stage description and it was so unclear to me that I actually thought now that it was a full run, because it doesn't make any difference to your overclocking, right? Because you have to do full run anyway to get a valid, right? And the only hint here that it's actually GTs is this. Now, usually for limitation, I would expect, like in past comps, like if we go into, I think the AMD one was GTs only, the one that I benched, the 3 Mark 06, not AMD GPU. So 3 Mark 06, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, so here they also just put it in the stage name. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old and forgetful or whatever, but I would have thought something like, please put down, you know, in the past it would have said, you know, only graphics tests count towards the score. I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, I can't edit the score anymore, and I'm fine with it being edited by the moderators, obviously, because I put in the wrong score. I put in the total score, but like, look, like I've been benching for 4 years, and looking at this stage, I actually don't see how it's GTs only. Yes, I see there's GPU in brackets here, but that could just mean, hey, this is a GPU bench, you know, like that. That could be interpreted many different ways. I would have expected, like, under limitations, only the graphics score counts, like something descriptive in English. And yeah, someone reported it. Possible cheat. Anyway, I don't care. It doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't change anything. I mean, it just so happens that my graphics score is close to my overall score anyway, so it doesn't make any difference to me. So I've got a 7700K in the system today, not the type of 7700K that everyone's familiar with, but the A10 7700K, which is FM2 Plus. And I was trying to iGPU bench earlier, but that was the idea for the comp tonight, but for the stream tonight. But it's really, really weird. I figured out, so the issue I had last time was that was on the UP4 board, right? So this board has the same issue. The issue I had last time was not being able to set GPU clocks and not being able to install drivers. And oh, the 500, 600, 700 stage. Yeah. The comp has been, I mean, I'm sure if you dig back into the comp planning thread, you would probably be able to sort of discern what was intended with the stages. But yeah, just by looking at the stage, I mean, that score I subbed like 5 minutes before the end of the stage. So yeah, I wasn't exactly like deep reading into everything to make sure I was doing it all right. But anyway, I think I have, the funny thing is I have a backup score sub that's like 100 points less anyway. So if they want to remove and report 5 different backup scores, that's fine with me. 780 Ti. That's a shame. How did the UK do? I didn't see the final rankings. What place did you get to with Team MLG? All right. So we need a capture utility. Magic. So yeah, anyway, like I was saying, so on this chip, so the old FM2 chip I was running previously, that was very limited in what drivers I could install, but because the latest non-beta driver that generation of iGPU supports is 15.7.1, and I also had that borked OS where I think, I don't know, some weird obscure service was disabled, so it would hang on driver install. On this OS, I can install whatever driver I want, but they still can't set clocks for some reason. Wow, why is it even... Okay, well, this is now the NVIDIA driver, but I sort of cycled through, spent a little bit of time, cycled through, I think, 15.8, 18.9, 18.10, and 21.5, which is the last driver that supports this generation. So there's a lot to go through there. And sometimes there is kind of a magic driver like that. I've noticed that with the HT5000 series on certain OSs and certain benches. So yeah, I'm not surprised that that's happening, but I just need to spend some more time with it. Yeah, 1K points is a good spot. I mean, in general, I feel like, I still need to set power. That was the annoying thing with the OS totally borking itself. I didn't have an image of it. So backup plan, 2D benching on APUs. Okay, there we go. So that's 290 Cinebench, which is not a lot. But we've got our Sammys in there. Yeah, LN2 is a challenge. I mean, I think I'm lucky. My LN2 supplier just takes it all really, really seriously. Like they wear masks and gloves and wipe down the dewars and stuff. And then they're not based in Sydney, so it's like an area where there's no cases basically. Anyway, so yeah, they've been delivering all the way through. Hey, Beer Matt, welcome. Had 95 liters just sat there. That's a crime. I'm going to report you to HarborBot. It's not acceptable. Okay, so a little bit about this board, or a little bit about this platform, maybe just as an intro. So there's there's actually 5 generations of GPUs that are compatible with this socket, and pretty much most boards will have BIOSes that will support probably 4 generations at least. So we've got FM2 and FM2 Plus, 2 generations of FM2, 3 generations of FM2 Plus. There's Trinity, which is the 5000 series, Richland, the 6000 series, that's FM2. Those full pot, those are on 32 nanometer. Then on FM2 Plus, it's Kaveri, Godavari, and Carrizo. Kaveri and Godavari. So maybe I should mention as well, Richland is a refresh of Trinity. Godavari is a refresh of Kaveri. Those are all APUs, but that's not to say that there isn't some SKUs that don't have iGPUs built in. It's just that they're defective. I mean, it's still the same chip, it's just with a defective iGPU. Whereas Carrizo is the latest generation, and that's fully locked, and there's only one SKU I know about, and that doesn't have an iGPU. And all those 3 I think are on 32 nanometers, so they're cold bugged. So this is FM2 Plus, this is Kaveri. Kaveri and Godavari are both still 7000 series, but they're just different SKUs inside of that, so that's a bit messy. But yeah, the old ones, the FM2s, are separated by 5000 and 6000. So this is sort of one of the more powerful iGPUs. There's a 512 shader version of this, which is even more powerful than this, but those chips are hard to come by in Australia. This is the 3, what is it? Let's go to the non-UIT version since HarryBot is back. 384 shader, I think, is what this is described as. No, not 6,000 points. I guess we can just go to this. Yeah, so it's R7 graphics, 384. So that's what's in here. But Trinity originally are 32 nanometer, yes, and then Kaveri, Godavari are 28 nanometer. 28 nanometer is the cold bugged process. 32 is the non-cold bugged one. Okay, so where's our chip? There's not a lot of competition on this chip. So this is what it looks like. So I've ran this chip on LN2 before. I got 5.6. Did I note down the cold bug? No, I didn't. I think it was like minus 90 or something. Yeah, but funnily enough, Kaveri and Godavari with the iGPU off are not so bad. So they vary. It's a little bit like current gen Ryzen where you have a lot of variance because you can have like a minus 40, minus 50 cold bug, or you can have minus 110. And my chip was pretty good. I think it was, I could dig it up in my notes, but it's like 80, 90, something like that. So those are the 5 generations of chips. All DDR3, of course. Now, in terms of chipsets, there was only 2 chipsets, A85X, well, high-end chipsets, A85X and A88X, and it was just like a simple refresh, nothing too exciting with the new chipset. But this is A88X. There's actually an A85X Wi-Fi as well. I don't know how good that is. I kind of want to get that. But this is pretty much the king of 32M boards. It's probably not going to do all that well multi-core cold because it's only got a 4-pin. Let's maybe just go to the page so we all know what we're talking about. Cheers, by the way. It's Friday night. I've got a beer here. Monday is Labor Day here in my state, in New South Wales in Australia. Okay, so here's the board. Here's the lovely little box. I love these little ITX boxes. But here is what the board looks like. So you don't have any buttons, you don't have any diag LEDs, but you've got a nice little dual DIMM layout. You've got only a 4-pin and a pretty puny looking VRM, but I think they're like really high. They're like 60 amp or 80 amp or something. So it's a 4-phase, but it's, I mean, New Life, who's previously like a really big AMD venture in Australia, absolutely loves this board because it's so efficient for 32M. It's so good at memory overclocking, and it's just good at everything basically. It posts really quickly. Just what is a little bit like something that I need to get used to is, of course, not having any diagnostic LEDs and stuff. Yeah, it's not too power hungry. It's only 4 core chips, and it's like the Beloza design or whatever. So it's like, oh, you know, they only have 2 floating point units or whatever it is. Yeah, really nice board. So the thing is, memory volts are limited to 1.9, but there's still amazing scores out on this, because if you have Sammy in there, and if you give it a little bit of cold even, there's some insane scores out there. So I think there's let's go to the Carrizo scores. So if we go, I need to search for it. Yeah, but I'm talking like if you want to run 32M on 32 nanometer, for example. which doesn't have that issue with, you know, frying iGPUs and stuff. So did I say vCore? I mean VDIM. It's only got 1.9 VDIM. For SAMIs, that's low. I never actually, I don't think I ever, when I'm benching, set less than 2 volts on SAMIs. But that's just me. So 32M below 5005, let's say. And we want to go on this board. So Wi-Fi. Can we spot it? It's not there. Okay. A88X. Damn it. Okay, let's just go with Giga. I'm sure that'll... Come on, Hoverbots. Yeah, so this is the score I think I was talking about. It's on this. Oh, it's on UP4. Damn it. F2A. Okay, so it's GA F2 A88 X. There we go. Let's go FM2. Maybe it was an FM2 score I'm thinking about. Yeah, okay, so this is insane. This is in the efficiency thread on Hybobot forums as well. So here we go. So this is a low clock challenge. And check, I mean, no, it's one of these. Okay, check this out. How can I zoom without zooming? Oh, for God's sake. Okay, let's just save it. Can I just open it with like... All right, paint. I don't really care. Just anything. Here we go. All right, zoomy, zoom, zoom, zoom. So this is by far the best run on this generation of CPU. So we've got, this is on cold CPU and yeah, 8000 series. Yeah, that's like an OEM type thing, isn't it? So we've got cold CPU to push the North Bridge, 4.3 North Bridge. So insider tip, if you're talking efficiency for 32M on FM2, the 6420K is the best because it will do higher North Bridge than a 6400K, 6800K, 6600K. So 4.3 on a bulldozer type design basically is fucking nuts. That's insane. So the CPU is just cold for the North Bridge and for the IMC, I guess, because you don't need it for core. And then basically 2400 7 10 10 SAMIs. That's at, I don't think this is a modded board. This is at 1.9 VDIM. Yeah, I did open a new tab, but it's a bitmap. So Chrome like freaks out, or Firefox at least freaks out at bitmaps. And it's on this board. Anyway, enough gushing over this board. So, in terms of good boards on this platform, there's the Asus Crossblade. There's the UP4, both the A85X and the A88X. So those I own, and they're probably a more sensible choice if you're doing really, really heavy multi-core like 2V core than this kind of board. But I have to say, I have Validate 7.9 on this board. It's not a good validation board. It's more a single core and efficiency board. But I just really like the simplicity of the BIOS and all that. So I just reflashed my BIOS because that's another thing I tried in order to get GPU clocks working. So let's disable this crap. We've got an IDE, Win7. Yeah, I don't need any of that. So just to point it out, I think these can be on auto. So 1.9 works. That's it. 1.9 is the top. So I'll just leave it at 1.9. I have nice active cooling here. Yeah, weird. I have to admit that sometimes when I'm on XP and my system is really unstable, like I can barely finish the benchmark, and I usually, like, sometimes you crash on saving the screenshot. In those situations, I sometimes use bitmaps, and then I downsize them later. But you're right, Hyperbot in current oops, so it's a 6 megabyte in current in the current form of Hyperbot. That would give you attachment too large error, but apparently back then it didn't. But yeah, sometimes when I have trouble saving screenshots, I just hit print and put it into Paint and then save straight away, which the default save type is bitmap, but then I have to like down-res it or convert it to PNG or whatever later. Okay, so DRAM, all good. Northbridge core, let's give it 1.35 for now. Let's give it really, really loose. So 10, 12, 12, all auto, and just post the top memory multiplier. So 2400 is the top multiplier. It's probably around where you want to be at for 32M efficiency as well. But sometimes it makes sense, maybe for the lighter benches, to go to like 2600. I don't know what the top thing is I've seen. I'm sure there's some IMCs out there on cold will do like 2800. That's why they added the attachment too large thing. Yeah. Okay. I think we can post that and then go back. Yeah, so that applied. Yeah, this bugs me. It won't set. Can I go like, I wonder what the top is. It'll, yeah, 2000 is the max. Interesting. Next thing is, so I was just on FM2, which is a bit different to FM2 Plus, but I would imagine that the 2400 strap isn't an issue. Let's see. Stand corrected. It is an issue. Well, at least I have my handy dandy little wires hanging off here to clear the CMOS and so on. Let's go 2200. So yeah, an end to this lockdown has actually been announced, believe it or not. So let's go back, because I don't. Okay, so that had a bit of an issue. Can I go into, oh, I need to sign in. Let's try 2000. If only I remembered how to sign into Twitch. It's been so long. Yeah, it does depend, doesn't it? I mean, I was happy when it happened. But we'll have to see how it sort of plays out. Because the really weird thing, I mean, the really weird thing in in my state in Australia is that they decided to give unvaccinated people the same freedom, just the same freedoms, just like 2 or 3 weeks later than vaccinated people. So it's like this whole thing of, oh, get vaccinated so you get freedoms. Just wait an extra 3 weeks and you get them anyway. It's sort of weird. Not that I'm necessarily, just to make clear, not that I'm necessarily in favor of that whole approach of getting, you know, the stick rather than the carrot. I don't know about that either, but if you're gonna go with that approach, maybe make it a more of an incentive. Like, I don't know. I mean, it sort of did work. Like, vaccination rates went up by an absolute shit ton while in lockdown. But like now, whoever's left now to still get vaccinated probably won't, because there's no like incentive to it anymore. Better than nothing, I suppose. Is that 10, 11, 11? I thought I said 10, 12, 12. Just bad eyesight. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old. So it was 290 without those little memory tweaks. As I pick up my phone so I can request SMS, please. Do the 2-factor authentication on Twitch. Yeah, it's a funny old world, isn't it? There's all sorts of aspects to it. Like, it's like there's no right and wrong anymore, you know, because like New York State, for example, is threatening to fire 75,000 healthcare workers overnight because they're still unvaccinated. So I don't know if that's really the right approach. Seems like that would cause more deaths than just having people be unvaccinated. I don't know. It's all a bit weird. Anyway, I'm signed in now. Good news. So yes, so this was the first lockdown chill out, July the 10th. So October the 10th will be 3 months, and October the 11th is the end of the lockdown. So, or like the significant easing of it. So 3 months of lockdown. And how many streams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the 10th. Okay. Yeah, it's just, man, so funny how things work out. All right. Interesting to see what score pops out here at the end. Yeah, that's a big issue, isn't it? In places that don't really have. Okay, so that gave us 10 points in Cinebench. Nothing to sneeze at when the score is so low, but so we're aiming for 433, but we're at 300. Well, we're not last anymore, so that's good. That's at stock CPU. At stock CPU, we're not last anymore. I think that's a good thing. Didn't South Australia say that they wanted to let people in? Shit, is like being drunk. Yeah, it's look, it's all this stuff is all over the place. I mean, like, I think this is dangerous territory now, but in general, side effects are possible with vaccinations, but the side effect will always be like one, if not several orders of magnitude smaller than what effects you'd have symptoms you'd have if you actually caught the disease that you're being vaccinated against. So when people complain about the vaccine making you like impotent and stuff, yeah, it does to a small number of people to a small degree, but the actual virus itself is worse. So, you know, and yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go. Like, will we just sort of over the course of many years all eventually get COVID, or will there be a sort of critical mass reached at some point where, you know, 30 or 40% of people have gotten it, but then that's enough immunity to together with the vaccine to sort of just like have it die out? Who knows? They say that's what happened with Spanish flu in, you know, the 1910s. Okay, so let's BCLK a little bit. I mean, I know of a few anti-vaxxers, and yeah, it's a funny old world. I mean, the thing is too, I mean, Australia has some of the highest vaccination rates in the world right now, pretty much. So this is national. That's already pretty damn good. The US is in the 50s, and they've been vaccinated many months earlier. But then my state is at 87.7 first dose, and odds are most of those people will get their second dose, and I could see low 90s happening. Imagine you and your 10 closest friends, and imagine let's say your 9 closest friends, and if you're unvaccinated, that means you literally are the only one in your group of friends, statistically speaking. That's, I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that position. Let's put it that way. Yeah, well, that's the whole other thing. You know, where did it come from? Why did it spread so quickly? We'll never know. It'll be like the Kennedy assassination. Okay, let's disable all this stuff. And let's go like 48 core at 1.5. Okay, Australian Bureau. I butchered that. Australian Bureau. What is that word of statistics? Damn it. Yes, that word, which I can't seem to be able to pronounce. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, less than 10%. Yeah, that makes sense. What happened here? Boot failure? Let's give it a reboot. I think the crazy thing that happened is how the different vaccines were pitted up against each other. I think that was so crazy. I think they're all like, I won't even say which one I got because I think it's completely irrelevant. I think they're all equally good or bad depending on your disposition, you know? Whatever faults or failings one vaccine has, the other has too, or something equivalent, you know? It doesn't really... Oh, I forgot about BCLK. So actually I should be at like 46, let's say. Now, let's keep the energy saving stuff on. Yeah, I mean, I have friends and family and stuff in Germany, and Germany's pretty bad for that stuff. They're in the 60s for vaccination. It's just like, I don't really know where it's all coming from. They just seem to feel like it's no big deal, you know? $45. What's even a good ambient score in this anyway, or an ambient 4.9, 4.6? Clocking bulldozer. Yeah, so Australia, New Zealand, I mean, I don't know. It's been a bit up and down over here because they've really taken a lot of our freedoms away. Like, the border is closed in both directions. I mean, that is a really, really radical step to take. I mean, I would argue. So I know of people who are from India and have had parents die, and they were not allowed to leave in order to attend the funeral. And I don't really see a reason for that. You should always be allowed to leave. I mean, maybe they make you sign something saying, I won't attempt to return within the next 3 months or something like that. But they, no, not even at the height of this, like, not even that was possible. You had to apply for an exemption, and they were totally free to not grant you that, even for the funeral of a parent, which, how sad is that? It's pretty crazy. Come on, little board. Give me the right multi. Okay. Well, maybe we need to go back to 100 PCLK. Yeah, well, I think there's a bit of a distinction there, though, between like restrictions on events happening in person and not being able to be in the same place with the other people who are grieving. I don't know. I mean, I think that's like, let's say in the case of India, like, leaving Australia should still be allowed. Whether or not you can really do what you want to do in India, that's India's matter, and it's for them to regulate. But the fact that we weren't even allowed to leave, and still aren't allowed to leave our country for whatever reasons. Internal lockdown. Okay, interesting. I mean, hopefully it's all sort of starting to come together now. I mean, it will be a long road. I mean, you know, I work in the travel industry, and it's not pretty, you know. It's not very many planes flying at the moment. Yeah, I wonder what the over under would be. You know, at what point in time will we be quote unquote back to normal? I would say we might still have 5 years to go from this point on, you know? Yeah, I mean, I'm on under a 5K radius right now. And it's in a crazy way, it's normal, you know? Like 3 months of being on a 5K radius. Well, at the beginning it was a 10K radius, but pretty soon they tightened it to 5K. Hi, Shmomo. Shmomo, on the other hand, lives in an absolute paradise called Tasmania, which is not only full of natural beauty, both flora, fauna, and landscape, but also is an island off of an island that has managed to stay pretty much COVID free for months and months and months. Yeah, 5K is like, I mean, you're gonna laugh, but I struggle to find a car wash I like within 5K. So I'm pretty intimately familiar with all of the parks around. I go for a walk 6 or 7 times a day. We have outdoor mask mandates right now as well. So it's the summer is starting to sort of come, and you sort of start sweating under your mask and stuff. It's while you're going for a walk, trying to exercise, trying to catch a bit of fresh air, maybe get the blood pumping a little bit, but you don't want to go too hard because then you'll just feel gross. It's a tender, it's a very delicate balance. So Shmomo, thanks for joining. I did intend to do some iGPU benching today, but my drivers and bias and so on didn't cooperate. Wow, worse than before. So okay, so the boost algorithm basically gave me a better score than I have now with fixed 45x. So I'll have to somehow the combination of BCLK and CPU multi wasn't really working there, so I'll just leave the BCLK at 100 for now and keep upping the multi. Let's try 4. Surely 4.8 would be okay. But in a way, anti-maskers are even more perplexing to me than anti-vaxxers, because, you know, humans are emotional animals, you know, and anti-vax is an emotional response. When people tell me, oh, you know, anti-vaxxers are so dumb, their arguments are so dumb, they're anti-big pharma, but then they, you know, recommend these other pharmaceuticals or whatever. I think that's the wrong tack to take, because it's just an emotional response. So you can't argue against an emotional response logically. It just doesn't work that way. But I suppose anti-masking is an emotional response as well, but a mask doesn't do you any harm. You know, you can at least argue that vaccinations do you harm. I mean, probably not very successfully, but at least it's an argument. Whereas a mask, I mean, there's all of these ridiculous arguments about how masks deprive you of oxygen, and the only reason that doctors have worn them all these years because I don't know, they have like extra oxygen being pumped into operating theaters and all this really wacky stuff. But that's, I mean, that's much more ridiculous than the anti-vax stuff, I think. Mainlanders, is that what you call us? Come on, system. Just do it. Just post, please. Maybe I gotta pull the 24 pin or something. Come on. Give me some signs of life. Maybe the chip died or something. I don't know. Seems weird. Let's pull the battery. That usually helps. Actually, the other trick on these APUs sometimes is that it likes to default to the iGPU, so I just swapped the HDMI cable around. Yeah, I get your drift. I mean, let's face it. Nobody gives a shit about Australia, even though it's big. It's got almost no population and it's on the other side of the world to pretty much everything. So yeah, people don't really care about Australia. And then Tasmania is like the thing off of Australia that even fewer people care about. God damn it. But let's keep it that way because it's a beautiful part of the world and we wouldn't want tourists spoiling that place. Oh. I think it's deciding to post very, very slowly. We need, you know what we need is a universal diagnostic interface that every board has, just via like USB or something. Country Cup 2021. And pay like $17 a liter for LN2. I hope that it doesn't change. I hope that the LN2 prices stay stable. I don't think I could face into like paying double what I pay now. It's just in that sweet spot where it hurts every time I pay for it, but I feel like I'm getting value for money. Like if you sort of divide it down into how much time I spend with that 100 liters of LN2, it's like a good entertainment value per hour, like a good cost per hour sort of thing. All right, board. Okay, so it's giving me something. It's giving me a blinking thing on the screen. That's not good. Guys, at this point, I'm open for anything. 6400K, 6420K. Carrizo? What about Carrizo? Is it the chip? Is it the board? What's 5400K? This is my bag of tricks for FM2, FM2 Plus. What's the... Alright, let's try and unplug everything. I don't like pulling the battery on this board because it's one of those Philly ones, you know, with the little connector, like one of those typical ITX batteries. Dewar. Oh, you have a Dewar. What have you overclocked on LN2? Okay, time to like take the rig apart and put it back together again. I don't know. Here I was singing this board's praises and it's completely crapped out on me. Poetic justice, as they say. I mean, it's a deleted chip that's been called. It might just. I don't really know what's going on there. Not to worry. I almost sort of want to put my Carrizo in there, but where is it? Does it have all its pins straight? If it posts, I'll bench it. I don't think I ever deleted it. Those things are rare. Okay, here's our board. I already showed the picture earlier, but 580 stock. Non-K 1155. So non-K Ivy or non-K Sandy? Because non-K Sandy on LN2, that would be impressive. Kudos. Yeah, what a mess. Do I have... Yes, I have a little rag here. I don't know why I ever deleted chips. It's not worth it, guys. Don't do it. Just say no. As Nancy Reagan would say, just say no. Here's our lovely little deleted chip with the nail polish on there. Okay, well that's... What I'll do is I'll find a non-deleted chip I can run 2D and then we'll just go to town. What about my second 6200K? Not deleted, no bent pins. We have ourselves a deal. Can't remember. Well, non-K Ivy is very, very different to non-K Sandy, to put it mildly. Okay. If it fits, we bench it. That's sort of the motto now. Oops. think this is weird to say, but I think the power cable crapped out on me. Don't ask me how. Like from the PSU to the wall. What is this now? Defaulting to the iGPU or something? Oh, here we go. Sweet. So on the older gigabytes, F9 gives you this nice little summary, just like on Asus, but it's hidden here. So you've got your memory amount, which is nice in case you're dropping channels. You've got the actual SKU you've got in there. I don't know what CPU ID is all about. You've got the BIOS version. Okay, let's block this one up and then just hopefully go to town finally. Should I dare to put the same chip back in there? Sort of feel like I should. Gonna do the old press a block down. Alright. Maybe that method is a bit too unscientific. I mean, I talked about this before on stream. I need to reseal my my deloaded AMD chips. That's the long and the short of it. Yeah, liquid metal would be good. I don't know. I feel like liquid metal is a lot of effort, to be honest, to apply. Like, I'd almost rather just run it on LN2 at that point. Like, it's weird. It's really like, it's really weird the stuff that daily benchers do, or sorry, daily overclockers do. Like, I've been asked, and I've seen people ask on like daily overclocking forums when a chip is being sold, is it delidded? And it's like it's a solar Intel chip, and I'm like, who in their right mind would delid a solar chip for daily overclocking, for like ambient overclocking? I would rather, like, in terms of like likelihood of the chip dying, I would actually, not effort, but likelihood of the chip dying, I would rather run it at 6G on LN2 with a heater day in, day out. I think that's quite likely to be actually better for the chip. Like, it's crazy. And then you see ambient scores at 1.6 vCore and all sorts of nonsense like that. It's like, it's almost like, it's weird, but non-extreme overclocking in some ways is more extreme than extreme overclocking. I mean, I know you've always got to consider you know, your extreme addicts and your Hazans of the world, who are those are both actually retired now from what I can tell. Like, there's always been extreme overclockers that have just gone absolutely nuts, but I feel like your average extreme overclocker is like less extreme than, you know, let's say the top 10% of ambient overclockers. Yeah, lapping your die. I mean, in a funny old way, it does make sense. I remember Vivi Like on Haswell, it sort of feels like on Haswell, temps, like the interface between the chip and your pod and temps and everything were so much more critical because you're talking a non-cold bug chip. But on Haswell, the South African overclocker Vivi used to lap the die for LN2. So he would but actually counterintuitively to make it rougher. So to like basically have a better interface between the die and the IHS, he would make the chip rougher because you can't really like lap the bottom of the IHS, but you can lap the chip, lap the core. Like, so yeah. Soldering 9th gen 9900K. 8th gen is pasted. I used to have an 8700K. Yeah, 99 is it's funny. It's really funny because I have a 6700K lying around, which is a really good chip. It's a 6.7 multi-core chip, and I keep putting off benching it because I hate cracks. And 4th, 6th, 7th, and 8th gen are just crack central, and it's just, I don't know. It seems like a waste of LN2. That whole torching up, torching down, or well, pulling down, pulling up. Come on. What's wrong now? The hell's going on? Oh, okay. Eureka! Let's attach my cable, CMOS cable. So I was just using a little screwdriver to get the CMOS battery reattached, because one of those that's in a little holder with a cable and a tiny little connector coming out of it, and then the connector, the other end where the connector needs to go on the PCB, it's not only small, so a small target, but it's also in between like a heatsink stack and a few caps or something, so it's not easy to get to. So we have not such good temps actually with the loop at 17. Okay, maybe this won't be the best overclock in the world, but at least we'll be overclocking. Let's try 2400 Northbridge. And top memory multi at top memory voltage. Reddit could use a better search function, I do agree. So yeah, I mean, not a ton, as you can tell, not a ton of prep went into this stream, but I have been benching a lot. I mean, I think I put out about 5 subs for Team Cup, 3 of them cold. I only ran out of LN2 this Monday, I think, and then Team Cup ended last night, so did another 2 or 3 days of ambient benching after that. So I'm sort of like not in the biggest like sort of motivational sort of state, but that's okay. I just wanted to hang out. I mean, I'm in lockdown, like hanging out on a Friday night with all of you folks. Disable this, disable this, this, and this, and this as well. No, not that. What's the max I can set in here actually? 200 maybe? 150? 140? Yeah, that's the other thing with these boards, is some sort of weird limit. So A80X, Wi-Fi, hardware bot. Let's go like this. So here's your lovely little clock drift game, where somehow the max like theoretical possible is 141.71, but I was only able to get 141. I gotta love that stuff. Okay, so back to business. Let's do 1.55 and 47. Just any old thing really. It's just, you know what gets me, like, I don't know what it is with daily overclocking. It's almost like it's a different sport. It's like a different thing, a different. I need to change from AHCI to IDE. That would be under SATA settings. It's weird. It's like some parts of ambient overclockers they consider like LN2 overclocking as cheating, and that's weird to me as well. It's like there's this overclocking forum in Australia where everyone's like really quick to point out, oh, that was on single stage, that was on cascade, that was on LN2, that's cheating, sort of thing, you know. And it's like, no, that's just the best cooling method available, you know. Like what do you want us to do? Like I find, I don't know, I mean, it's easy for me to say as an LN2 overclocker, but I almost sort of find people who run like -5 degrees ambient air, like that's cheating to me, you know, because it's giving the false impression of being on a regular air cooling setup when it clearly isn't. You know, it's like, it's not like there is a limited supply of 2 single stages in the world and I happen to own one of them and that's what's giving me this massive advantage. It's like anyone can buy a single stage or get LN2. I mean, I say anyone, I'm sure there are countries around the world where it's really hard to get and la-di-da-di-da, but you know, in general, I think if you're determined to get it, you can usually get it. So 47x is applied. We have our on-code, we have our RAM. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's obviously these price factors and things, and but yeah. Redrawing the pond until they are precisely the biggest fish. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Ooh, am I down cored? Why is it only 2 threads? I don't get it. That's weird. Oh, that's right. This is a dual core. I kind of forgot about that. Okay. Yes. Of course. So, at least for the early generations, the ones with the FM2 pluses, it's a little bit different. But for the 5000 series and the 6000 series, the 64XX-K is dual core. The 66XX core is like a lower bin quad, and then the 6800 is the highest end. Okay, let's have a look around the rankings. So we've got 7.7. Not sure I can do that, but I have 2 chips that I can bin through. Someone done an all out. Yeah, 7G, I mean. By the way, here's that cold CPU, cold RAM setup from the earlier 32M score. No, actually, it was this. Look at that. ITX with 2 pots on it. That's a special setup. I appreciate seeing that in repicks. Ooh, League. Oh, I like beating League at stuff. Maybe I do need to freeze the chip. So he's on a UP4. That's nice. 110 BCLK. Interesting. Yeah, so obviously, yeah, well, not so interesting now that I think about it, because these chips have a 63X max multi. Yeah, I said I was going to do a bit of a Team Cup review. That report sort of put me on a bit of a tilt, but okay. Actually, what I need to do is this. Or maybe just auto hide, even though I don't really like using that. How does this work? Oh, that's right. Where's somewhere I can put? So annoying. Okay. I don't like this snap feature either. Oh, yeah, this is probably acceptable. All right. Let's open all the subcomps. Oops. So we've got AMD, Intel, AMD GPU, NVIDIA, memory, and iGPU. I like the way they broke it down this year instead of DDR1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go AMD. Why they open backwards somehow. AMD CPU. So it's closed. Overclock one. Overclock.net. Team Hardware Reloaded second, 6 points behind. The first stage was DDR1 Cinebench 2003. Hold on, we've got a score here. Let's save this as a baseline. If there ever were a Cinebench 15 per core stage, this would be pretty good. 175. Which setup is that, Mick? Okay, 49. Posty, please. The only thing I'll say is the UP4 has a better splash screen. The UP4 has a scantily clad person as woman, lady. I can show you my my trick for rearming invalid versions of Windows 7. SLMGR rearm, because I want my background back, damn it. Yeah, that was good. It sort of led, I mean, where the DDR1 3 stages probably not, so maybe led to fewer DDR1 and 2 stages overall, but I feel like that's sort of the direction we need to go in anyway. Oh, I didn't save it to desktop, damn it. There we go. Balance has been restored to the force. Okay, 4.9 is applied. Okay. It's running. Oh, you get all my keys. Anyway, so DDR1, Cinebench 2003. Yeah, iGPU DDR1, that's not really something that exists, practically speaking. So here, ooh, is that a double? Is someone running? Ooh, I didn't see that. I like looking scores like this. So we've got an Elmore EVC temperature probe. That's always very nice with the 2 inputs used for wow, for a Northbridge pot on. If I have to guess, I mean, this is the DDR1 stage, AMD. So it's some sort of 939 setup. Is it? Oh, trick question. It's a dual CPU setup, right? It's gotta be. No, it was the other score. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Not grayed out sockets means it's dual socket, isn't it? That is awesome. That is freaking awesome. K8 and DL. That sounds like it stands for dual socket or something. There we go. I'm amazed, guys. This is it's like a workstation board run on LN2. Freaking love it. This is what Team Cup is all about. Volt modded. Yes. What's that pod? Is that a reactor or something? I mean, man, active chipset cooling. Dual. Oh, okay. Here's the other set of slots. So it allows you to run 4 sticks for the primary CPU for capacity, but then the secondary only has two slots. Am I looking at this right? And only a single PCIe. This is so wild. Yeah, it looks a bit like a reactor, doesn't it? Single 8-pin, and they're dual core as well. So Shaggy, you impress me a lot. He already does good GPU stuff. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, that might be the sub of the first stage I look at it. It's pretty much the sub of the comp. Both dual channel, but I'm trying to understand. I mean, it is dual channel. So the way I would run this board, looking at the colors, would be here. You've got your 2 channels for the second CPU, and then the 2 blacks would be this 2 channels for the first CPU. But you would still be able to run 2 DIMMs per channel on the first CPU, it seems like. Okay, so that's a strong start to the Team Cup. Won that stage. Ooh, someone else ran it on water as well. That's nice. Yeah, I just love seeing this stuff. Look at those. What are those? What are those blocks? Really weird. Okay, so that's a strong start. See, DDR2. This is the sort of thing that I would like to bench, but it just turns out that there were, when I got involved, so I didn't feel like I wanted to chance getting LN2 delivered in the early stages of the lockdown, but then towards the end I thought I would. So at that point I started looking at the stages, and there was already 2 cold subs for overclock.net. I like the UD4P. The UD4P is a good board, man. I had a sort of mixed relationship with it early on because I had one die or like semi die or something, but it's just a really good all round DDR2 board that will support all the way up to Thuban if you wanted to. So yeah, this I mean, the other stage is self-explanatory. It's just 2 subs, any DDR1 pretty much within reason. Ooh, we had DQ6. Is that a DQ6? Yeah, strong Sempron sub there. 2nd out of 9, not bad at all. Yeah, DQ6. So yeah, again, overclocked.net taking first. It's just basically this stage was artificially limiting single and dual cores to DDR2, which is mostly a board limitation, because I remember 2 country cups ago, I just pulled one of the RAM channels for X264 4K on DDR3 because on single core it was so slow anyway, it didn't seem to make much of a difference. So CPU profile max. How a reactor ended up winning, but you've got to remember it's 3 cold subs versus 1.5. This was at like -50. So we have ambient, cold, -50 versus full pot, whatever this is. And the top score ended up being 2400 exact, both by Colby and myself. The only reason I ran 8320 was because we had to have 3 different chips, and Char was already running 8350. So I ran, sorry, did I say 8350? 8320. So that was good. I found a good chip that did 8G and 7.9 through 1M. Yeah, 8030. So I sold 2 chips. I've been through 4 total. So I'll be coming back for more damage. This CPU profile max was just like, it required a lot of VCore for this, so I was at 2.05, and I didn't want it to kill the chip from a comp stage like this. So I would say that, where are we? Let's get to the chip like this. So I haven't had a really good chip so far. Actually, let's just do like this, even better. 8320. So I already have Cinebench 11.5, SuperPi. Oh, I'm on a 7.9 score now. I have to update that. I'm out of reach of this 8.3 gigahertz 1M. 7.6 32M I'll be able to do for sure. This Cinebench 15 is just insane. But then W prime, I think even a 7.7 W prime is beatable. Anyway, yeah, it feels a bit like unfinished business. I mean, I got the best score in the comp in the stage, but just I mean, there was just people who didn't have LN2 left over and stuff. Cinebench per core, I'm not a huge fan of these per core screw arounds. Like, it's just, you end up doing stuff like running a quad core just because it's good per core and stuff. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Cinebench 23 in the first place. Okay, let's go on to Intel. Where's Intel? Intel. I don't think I ran a single Intel thing actually. But before we go into that next sub competition, let's save our score and go higher. It seems like the W prime scores are going to be the DDR1 scores are going to be the coolest all around, because I remember this socket 478 DDR1 W prime on the Intel side was almost as cool as Cinebench 2003 on the AMD side. So 180, not a massive improvement, I have to say. Maybe it's time to BCLK it a little bit. They can access each other's memory over a hypertransport. So it's sort of like post please. Maybe that was a bit adventurous. I should drop the multis just to make sure I don't hit some sort of limit there. Really seems on the edge, doesn't it? I mean, it's a single core. I can probably go like 1.55, 1.6 V core if needs be. At least it's consistently clearing CMOS and stuff now. That's what's happening, board? I have a mouse pointer. That's the actual bench rig mouse pointer. I don't get it. Yeah, weird. It seems almost like that after a CMOS clear, it, I don't know. Okay. It's just being a bit temperamental, as they say. Okay, let's go 105 with a lower north bridge and a lower core as well. Surely that's gonna work. Recovery screen. Okay. So we've now had a bump in memory, about 100. Come on. What is it with this thing? Weak IMC or something? Okay. Keep it simple, stupid, as they say. I'm not touching that. Just going up 100. However, okay. If that's gonna be the way, let's do this. I should also disable startup repair. That's one of my pet peeves. I disable when I build a new OS. What the hell? Oh, okay. That almost looked like a hang. I disable the recycle bin. I disable UAC. I move the start bar over. I enable the power plan. Disable all the weird window snapping and all that. Those are sort of my main gripes with standard Windows 7. Standard Windows 10 is just, it almost feels like I never get to get it to the place that I wanted to get to. Just wait for the render to start. Okay. So on the Intel CPU side, Overclock.net 1W'32M. This was a socket 478 DDR1 only. So no SDR need apply. That's funny. No to leak. Win 10 is painful, but it works. Yeah, I mean, you can use a toothpick to dig a hole. It works, but it's painful. Okay, so some sort of Asus VIA chipset board, it seems like. So got two cold subs. I mean, 5.2 on 478 is quite the achievement. So why leak? Leak isn't even. I suppose it's a joke about W Prime having DLL tweaks disallowed now. 1366 style, yeah. I mean, not that RAM would necessarily matter all that much on 478. I have a DFI Infinity board for 478. I should get it out sometime. Nice. I like it when you know, especially this year with just two subs. I like it when a stage just is like nothing's been left on the table. You know, you clearly both of these scores are pretty damn good. Who's even in USSR? I always sort of, it's obviously a new team. Dry Ice and John Hexane. Who are these people? 5.1. That's not bad. DDR2. So PC Mark Express. Did anyone go crazy and go cold on this? Nah. Okay. So, I mean, this is SS maybe. That's not really. I mean, 775, you don't necessarily need cold for this anyway, because it's all FSB limited, right? How about storage solutions? What? I don't see any storage attached here, which could just be that's the rig pick. What about USSR? Hard to know. Terraptor. 478 DDR3 boards. Yeah, look, PC Mark 10 on an old platform like this, I can't really talk about too much. Let's just look at the top score to give an idea. Oh, Tantakeda. Going wild. 5.3 on a P5K. That's a good board. 560 VCLK. That's decent. Okie dokes. Not really a stage I can do much. I can say much about. So R23. Yeah, I mean, PC Mark is a buggy bench. It's debatable as to whether it really should be getting globals, but it's, you know, it's good to try out these things. So this is DDR3 only, R23 multi-core. So you're talking the big. So this is the stage where I thought I could have some fun on my 4930K. And then a week later, I look at the stage and everyone's screwing around with Z170 DDR3 9900Ks. I mean, whatever it takes to win the stage, I suppose. But naturally, like just looking at the stage, I was like, yeah, this is, everyone's going to get their Rampage 4 Black Editions out and their 4960Xs and stuff. It's a bit of a shame that these sort of shenanigans can take over a stage. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit ambivalent about this. Hi Kicks, what's Gucci? Not much. Just clocking a bit of FM2 and doing a review of Team Cup. Because that's, I mean, I think finding loopholes in stages like this is not really what overclocking is all about. I don't know. You can go on either way. So then Geekbench 5, which is just throw your typical throw cores at it sort of stage. I was at one point considering running a 14 core, but then I saw that there was already a good 12 core up. So yeah, not I mean, overall sort of creativity of the Intel stages wasn't as good as AMD with, you know, CPU profile max and all that good stuff. You know what I'll do? I'll just I'll save the score and then I'll install, even though it's painful, I'll install EasyTune maybe, just to give me multi-control in OS. I just like, to be honest, I think that for 2D, that there needs to be a good amount of full pot action, you know? That's I think that's what it's all about, really. You might disagree with me, but ooh, let's try, maybe, is overdrive the way to get multi-control? No, I just closed my chat. Damn it. Okay, I just lost a couple of messages. Sorry, guys. Might have to repeat whatever you just said. Again, that's sort of weird. Like, shouldn't it be possible to rejoin a certain Twitch channel and just see all the scroll? Oh, I do. I'm getting the scroll back in the creator dashboard. Actually, that's a good trick to remember. It's getting old. Yeah, 9900K DDR3 stuff is cool like the first few times, but it's getting old. Exactly. People are talking about, oh, it requires skill because you have to model your BIOS or whatever. You probably just wait for one guy in your team to do it and then you just copy it. So Nah, it's a bit. It's, you know, you're running on GIMP VRMs and stuff. I think, I don't know, that sort of stage, maybe, you know, it would make sense to have the exact same stage and then say, sockets allowed, you know, whatever, 1155 and 2011, and that's it. AIM 3 plus if somebody really wants to run it, and that's it. Less points available in obscure hardware. Yeah, that's a good idea. So 50x. Let's juice it up. 52x. Oh, cannot do it. Okay, let's try 51x. Okay, I'll move swiftly onward. So we did have DDR. So I have something to say about the stage. So this is 3D Mark 01, Radeon 9000 series only, AGP only, DDR1 platform only, AMD only, I think. Let's go to stage. Yeah, socket A or 754 only. So I bought, I don't have it here right now. I showed it on stream last time, I think. I bought a VIA chipset Zeus 754 board, which is the first 754 board I've had since Team Cup 2017 or 18? 18. When I killed my LAN party, unfortunately. And I did want to bench Semprons on 754 today, but I'm waiting for some Radeon 9250s to get in with DVI out, because my whole capture rig is all HDMI only, which you can adapt DisplayPort and you can adapt DVI to HDMI, but adapting analog outputs to HDMI, I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's a bit more involved. And a lot of my AGP cards, which is what my board is because I bought it for the stage and then didn't bench it, have analog only, so D sub only. So once I have those cards come in, and let me tell you, the whole postal system in Australia right now is pretty screwed up. It's I've had anything that's like just an untracked letter type thing, I've had that take from one part of Australia to another. I've had to take like 3 weeks, and sometimes that would be like a 3-day thing, you know. So 51 applies. Let's try that. See if the run starts. Looks like a hang. That's a hang. Five weeks. Yeah, well, international is different, but in Australia, it's been, they have, so locally for me at least, letters used to arrive every day, Monday to Friday, and now letter delivery is, I think, Tuesday and Thursday only or something. And also, the post office now is for like pickup only on certain days. There's no like other services like, you know, sending or whatever. Yeah, so they've really made an effort to, I think, I mean, they're outsourcing a lot as well and hiring new people, but there's such a huge volume because of the lockdowns and people are just stuck in lockdown that they're like reducing postal services in an effort to maybe somehow catch up. Where's the volts? I want volts. Can I set, let's go 1.55. What's the worst that could happen? It's probably still gonna hang. Hi, White Shark. Good morning. How are you doing? The other thing I can try. That rig info is a little bit out of date. It's actually motherboard is the same, but it's 6400K because it's 7700K. Yeah, no, it's just, look, I'll update it. I'll update it. But I don't often like update mid-stream like this. It's just I had a chip in there. The motherboard stopped posting. We had all kinds of issues. I put a different chip in there just to keep the rig going. Yeah, so CPU is 6400K, benches, all modern 2D. Did you bench for Team Cup, White Shark? Okay, let's blast some Northbridge volts. When did that reset? Let's get some Northbridge in here. Shark is here. I mean, international postage is a totally different thing, but yeah. So this stage, I have a 9800 Pro. It's a bit temperamental. It doesn't. Maybe some people in chat know a bit about AGP. Do you sometimes have to like fine tune the AGP volts or the AGP bus frequency? I've heard that before, where isn't the standard like 100 megahertz, but then for some cards to post you need to lower it to 66 or something. Yeah, I'm just finding that my 9800 Pro is quite picky about what boards it's going to post in, and unfortunately it has DVI out, so I could have used that for 2D on my new 754 board, but it doesn't seem to post easily on that board, so that's why I bought some 9250s for display out. But they're also actually nice cards to bench. There's quite some points to be had. So yeah, I have cards that post in every single board I own, like my Nvidia MX 400, I think it's called, that posts in everything. But the 9800, very picky for whatever reason. Oh, I didn't even know there was a 9250. Okay, let's go back to our little ranking. So at some point there was some discussion because inside the team 9800 died, so I may have posted or whatever, but in the end I have some rare chips even from a previous team cup. I have a 3400 Venice and stuff. I sort of want to bench that. It's just fascinating because it's a single channel mainstream platform, which there's not that many of those around. So 3 Mach 06 shader model 2.0 DDR2. I had fun. I benched this on stream. Lots of fun. Again, UD4P, my unicorn, 6.9 gigahertz, 32M, 955 Black Edition under there. So much fun benching this. I think I had the top score in the comp in the end. Yeah, 12,000. That was fun. Dual card. This was a great stage. This is just like shader model 2.0 only. That's nice. And who was the other score? Tag, I guess. Or was it Char? I'm guessing Tag, but let's double check. Yeah, Tag. Oh, that's right. He did a sub on the last day of the comp, I think. So Cadzilla 4K. This was 6000 series only, which, given the current mining craze and stuff, is just not very available. So it feels like the people who had those cards also didn't have LN2 and vice versa. Oh, someone got a Warp 9 won it. Okay, I've got to look at that cold sub then. Did Ale doesn't do LN2. CB Joust doesn't do LN2, so it must be Bones's. $3770K. at 5.5. Yeah, this is heavily card limited anyway. I don't know why you would necessarily go cold, because last year at Country Cup we had a dual card like 1080 Ti and all that stage for Godzilla 4K, and even that, like, that was still card limited, and we just ran a 4770K at 5.5 on LN2 just because we got sponsored and we didn't have any air coolers around. But yeah, okay, sort of an interesting stage in a weird way, but that's, I don't remember many Warp 9 wins of stages, but here we go. They won by quite a margin as well, because Overclock.net ended up, wow, 4th. What happened there? Oh yeah, we just didn't have 6,000 series cards. Easy. Oh, Godzilla is just, I mean, it's not, I don't know why it keeps on being used in comps. Like, does League just like to completely torture us or what? But it's not, it's never going to be a ranked bench again, is it? It doesn't really have vendor support, so I don't really, yeah, I don't really get it at all. Okay, anyway, times by any card. So of course hardware reactor 1, because it's like big. Oh, is that the 6,000? Oh no, it's any card as in AMD side. Okay, dubstep bench. It is, I mean, I ran quite a, like, basically the rig at the last Country Cup was on my OCF and on my chip. So I ended up being like co-benching a lot of the setups and then benching my own as well. And it was sort of like a good bench to run like 10 hours straight. It didn't get annoying, you know, because once you had a rig set up, I think it was good. But it's just, if you're trying to get a good score, that's sort of a different thing. But I found it very consistent. You could sort of like start a run, look for the initial peak FPS, and then be like, all right, let's quit. It's not a good run, you know? So it's good that way. Skrillex world record. Okay, we're done. Okay, let's just, ooh, lower CPU NB equals lower score. So now let's do a rerun off screen. Okay, let's go. That was AMD GPU. Now let's go to NVIDIA GPU, where I didn't do anything, I don't think. 3 Mark 99 DR1. What are all the tweaks? Like, can someone just give a rundown of what the tweaks are for 99? Because for me, it was always like locked at 60 FPS the few times. I remember in the old days when I was trying to get my first 100 gold cups or whatever, I'd run 99. But yeah, so what was the limitation? AGP only. Is a 7600 a good AGP? VSync off. Yeah, but that's a normal tweak anyway, I thought. Anyway, yeah, maybe I didn't know about it back then, but now I always force that off pretty much in the legacy benches. NV Inspector, good to know. Yeah, no, I can't really talk about this. I mean, I would guess it's CPU limited on DDR. Let's have a look at tag score. Yeah. Ooh, 775 DDR1 action. Oh yeah, desktop res equals bench res. That's another good one. So Cascade. Alright. Anyway, OCN wins it. Warp 9, what's going on with Warp 9? Has anyone big left Warp 9? I know that Max... I mean... Okay, well, just a very like local Aussie thing. I'm sure you saw the news post. It's been a while ago, but sadly, a Warp 9 bencher from Australia died of, well, I'm not going to even say died, basically, this year, Aussie, and him and Max Beach, I think, are quite good friends. So maybe him dying sort of stopped Max from benching. I really don't know. I'm only speculating. I shouldn't really be speculating, but that is like one sort of thing I can remember happening in Warp 9. But Warp 9 used to be like the solid second. Yeah, Ozzy like was known to be an abrasive character in the forums, but I think that was just like his way of expressing himself in text in a forum, was sort of an acquired taste. But yeah, I talked to him quite a bit as well. He was very knowledgeable on like DDR stuff. When I was trying to do my DDR frequency valid, I like talked to him on Discord and stuff, and he seemed like a really nice guy. But yeah, he sadly passed. So yeah, like less output from Warp 9 people clearly in Australia between those two benchers, but I wonder what else is going on there. I mean, maybe they just didn't like the lineup of benches this year, but I feel like they've been second the last 2 years that I remember being in OCN. So Team Cup 2017 was pretty much the first comp I ever took part in, which was I benched I think like 7700 non-K on an Asus Z270 like crappy board, XTU or something I think was the bench. And then so that was on r/overclocking team. Then 2018 same thing. I think 2019 was my first year in OCN, so this is now my third year in Team Cup OCN, and probably the year I did the most cold subs. Yeah, that's the thing with Ozzy. It's like, you know, there would be something going on in the forums and he'd be like, screw that, you know, why the fuck are you doing that, you know? So yeah, like you say, he would always express his opinion, and people saw that as him just being like this brash Aussie. But like, if you actually asked him about benching related stuff that he knew about, he'd be happy to help, like you say. To be like, there's not that many news posts, right? Surely it's still here in the history somewhere. Yeah, I feel like we're already pretty close to it, to be honest. Let's scroll back. Let's take the time to scroll back. I think our old friend deserves that amount of attention. Database restore. La, 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 la. Country Cup. Ooh. It's not there. I thought it was a news post. Maybe it was a Facebook post on the HardwareBot Facebook. I'm sure there was some publicity about it. Or maybe it was Discord. I don't know. So it was in the off topic. Let's just put this up. I mean, what? March of this year. Yeah, here it is. I thought League subsequent to that put up something, but it might have been on the Facebook, and you know how Facebook is hard to search sometimes. I might find it and put it in, as they say, put it in the show notes on podcasts. I'm not a podcaster. I sort of still toying a bit with the idea of an overclocking related podcast, but I have a lot of like other sort of like hobbies and stuff. So like one stream a week plus actual other benching as well. It sort of gets a lot. Gets a lot in the end sometimes. Yeah, so sad to hear fighting Mofo. Yeah, it was, I don't remember what form of cancer it was, but like a really aggressive form of cancer. Picture of our Facebook profile. Yeah, I'm not gonna even attempt to open up Facebook because that will be on my personal Facebook and stuff, and I don't want to be doxxed. Anyway, so it would have been like in the March region. Where's the previous? Okay, here we go. February. I thought it was around this Obujan post, funnily enough. I don't know how I remember that, but maybe it got taken down for one reason or another. Okay, back to our 8th of March. Back to our bench. So we did get like 4 more points out of off screen. I'll do a I guess real time run next. I mean, these low core counts usually real time and stuff. The scale's pretty good. $189, and now let's full screen. Real time. Right, back to Team Cup. So we were on the Nvidia part 3 Mark 99 Max. 05, I think I had the hardware for this one. Let's quickly review. I could have run 775. 05 is probably still CPU limited though, and I'm not very good at FSB clocking on 775. The GTX 200 series, I wonder how so overclock.net won it. Yeah, 285s and 295s. Single card, right? Any cold subs or anything? Yeah, see Ellen, see there you go. It's a CPU limited one again. 610 or so. Nice. Okay. I mean 05, there's not much you can really say about that. Night Raid DDR3. 76500 series. Ooh, who are these people? It's always nice to put faces to names, so let's some of these usernames seems like they're old timers, so sad that there's no comment. So one of these people is bad B Woby. Whoa boy. Fully volt modded, it seems like. Oh, dice. Nice. And a lightning. That's cool. Right. Finally for Nvidia. Fire strike all out, basically, it seems like. Unless there's a limitation. One video card. I mean, that again is just like, who can find the most 3090s and 3080 Ti's, and you know, it just gets a bit seems like Team Hybrid Reactor is the team with all the money, because any stage that's just like whoever has a $2,000 GPU wins. It's been them. Okay, so 3090. Did Bullshooter? No, 1500. That looks like just like a stock type setup. What about authenticated? Surely a little bit of dice action on the card? No. Okay. That's a bit boring. Okay, so now memory and iGPU. So memory was interesting. Let's go into the little stages. So memory frequency, OCN 4th. So it was best of 2 subs, I guess. I've done DDR1 memory frequency so often and not had that much luck, so I didn't feel like attempting it, even though I have an expert board and a glut of TCCD 350 and 380. Was this a new PB for tag at least? Yeah, okay. Oh, just like a vanilla Corsair stick. Nice. Oof. 4400, that's getting up there for DDR1 though, isn't it? Ooh, real time gave us some nice gains. Let's see if we can break 200 maybe. Let's shove all this stuff off to the side. 192. Let's do, I think we have BCLK in here, so let's do some BCLK overclocking. HD ref is at 100. Oh, that's right. I was like, what? How could it be at 100? All AMD platforms are 200 stock clock, right? All the good ones, at least. It won't let me. Slider, please move. Okay, let's just do it in the old-fashioned way. So yeah, DDR1, the USSR over 400. Well over 400 average, which is really, really nice. Really nice. So Terroraptor with the 434. A sixth global. Did you use a booster? Oh no, just it's a sweet looking diag card. And we have a hang. Weird. Why is it being so strange about BCLK? Is the sometimes when you leave the iGPU enabled but not active, it actually really screws with your overclocking. So let's see if we can hard disable it. I mean, that's really solid. What's the board? An SLI Deluxe. That's really interesting. I mean, all anyone ever told me was that you needed a LAN party for this stuff, but it makes sense that other boards are competitive. It's just not liking BCLK on this chip. I mean, 1.6 is a bit brutal on Chiller, but let's give that a go. Oof. We'll have to do it as this two-step process where we first look for a pass with normal priority and then do a real-time run after. Otherwise, you can be just hung and not know it. Yeah, yep. Yeah, nice. Okay, so this is impressive stuff. 13 likes. I already commented. Nice one. Keep pushing. So what is that? 13 megahertz away from the top score. That's impressive. So the dual LN2 pots on CPUs and this score, those are the two highlights for me so far for sure. We haven't even seen big this is a sore spot. So I put up, I really want the hardware first for this. So I just, you know how it gets in competitions, you used to always sort of take the easy route out, and I decided to go with the UD4P instead of the LAN party. But I feel like had I had, I mean, 5990 through 382M, that's getting up there. had I had my good sticks in there, because I also had to run Corsairs because it's a memory stage, so we had to have unique memory kits. But had I had my good sticks in there plus the LAN party on the same chip with the same OS, same everything, same WASA, this would have been a gold, I think, because it's only less than 3 seconds behind this mysterious Raven score, which has a bugged screenshot and claims 669 C5. I haven't seen a single loop. I haven't even seen a post. I haven't even seen a set 669 on these IMCs, but who knows? It's a really old 32M record, and it's got 43 points, and I'll be rebenching the next time I have LN2 for sure. But this, yeah, tag. Wait, this is subbed wrong. This needs to be a 12. How is it a minute slower? How is it it's like the same, it's the same speed as everything else. How is it a minute slower? I mean, the encore is a bit weak, but hey, Tantaketa, how are you doing? Long time no see. We were just discussing some of your subs. Good job. I think, yeah, you had a few solid ones in there. But can someone tell, like, is this just a really dirty OS or something? Like, no offense to tag or anything, but like 550, 3000 plus encore, 5.7, that to me is like a 12-minute 50, a 12-minute 45, not a 1342. But many bad ones. Tag can 32M. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so let's look at your score then. This is good timing. So the top score of the entire stage. Okay, so we've got a pass. That's great. Now let's just do a real time. So yeah, anything you want to say about this score? I mean, I think so I ran CL5 because that's the way the board works, is it's not very good at running CL4. Had the goal on screen. Did it freeze mid-run or freeze on screenshot? So yeah, your efficiency is a bit better, but it's just mostly down to the CL4, I think. I need to rerun on LAN party on CL4 with the better sticks. What kind of sticks are these? So these are G skills, maybe not the most amazing thing in the world. CPZ froze. So hold on. Opening CPU Z froze the system, like crashed the system, or you still had a responsive system and CPU Z would not open. Because if opening CPU Z froze the system, then there's an easy fix. You just need PS check, downclock, open CPU Z, arrange all your windows, upclock, take a screenshot, downclock again, close PS check, and then like edit your screenshot if you need to. But ran out of LN2. Okay. Yeah, we would like to see a rerun. How did you, so for me, I could do about 4.1 encore and about 6 core and max memory frequency probably about 570, 580. Did you try CL5 at all, or were you just starting off at CL4 and happy with 550? And did you try higher encore? Because you're at 274 bus, so you should have higher encore multipliers. CL4, yeah. Well, I think CL4 for efficiency is best anyway. crashed. But you can what kind of, I don't know why I'm helping my competition here for the gold, but anyway, that's we're all friends here. How much CPU Northbridge voltage did you run? I think I ran 1.75 to get 4 point whatever it is. 4 point, or I can probably just get the sub from here. Where does it? So I end up running. That's right. I could do about 4.3. Now I remember. So yeah, for about 4.3 on core, I ran 1.75. Ooh, 1.87885. HG 4600. Yeah. Okay. So for the iGPU stuff, is this a fail? Like, why is it? It's hung on real time. Weird. Let's give it ever so slightly. Or actually, what I can do is I can just lower the chiller a bit. I mean, chip-to-chip variance in this 32M stuff is pretty high, but I could, yeah, so in terms of core, this is the absolute max. I had to core bin on that chip. I'm still sort of hoping for a better 940 Black Edition because I think there's a 6.3 gigahertz 50 point SuperPi 1M. But in terms of core, this is what it'll do. On core as well, 4.3 or lower that's all it will ever do. But RAM, I'm hoping for like a 550 CL4. And then I think it's the goal. I mean, 3 seconds on a run length like this is like what? It's I mean, so you've got your 12 times 60 plus, no, damn it, I hate how it does it that 720 plus 33, so 3 divided by 753, so 0.4% is the difference between this and gold. So I think CL4 would be enough. Yeah, 580 CL4, but does your IMC do it? Because on AMD full pod, a lot of the time the IMC is what's holding you back. So did your sticks do 580 CL4 ambient on this chip or on another platform? Because that's different. It's only when you get a 32M pass at like reasonable core, maybe not maxed out core, but full pod at reasonable core on the same chip. Ambient doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. I've had there's some chips, there are actually some 940 Black Editions that will not pass 32M full pod at pretty much any setting and might be like 600 C4 ambient. So yeah, you have to be careful with that. It's not like Intel, like on Intel, generally speaking, IMCs get better or stay the same on cold. On AMD, CPU Northbridge gets better on gold, but the actual max memory clock can very often go lower on full pod. Yeah, there's some left. Okay, that'll be a cool little Did I actually change my chiller temp? I'm talking too much. Okay, so okay, so that was a really fun stage. I really enjoyed that. It gave me I always wanted to get that AM2 Plus platform record, but it gave me an excuse to bin some chips for it and so on. Get a bit more familiar with my kits. I did some kit binning on stream as well, but unfortunately didn't get the win. And I just, every team cup, it's like a point of pride, you know. I want my team to win an AMD 32M stage if it exists, no matter what. I'll bench pretty much any platform. I mean, I'm talking FM1, FM2, FM2 Plus, AM2, AM2 Plus, AM3, AM3 Plus. Those for sure I would go all out on for 32M. AM4, that's Windows 7. 939, maybe. I've run it in the past, I think. But that's where I sort of draw the line. AM1 as well. I would give a go. Pi Prime, poor old Ground, likes to get obsessed with certain benches and certain platforms and certain stages. He really went hard on this Pi Prime stuff. So your 5800X was the Cinebench 2003, sorry, Cinebench 23 per core stage, I guess. So I think Ground ended up with the best score here in the end. So it was a 12.1. Yeah, that's pretty decent. But I mean, like, cold hypers and cold IMC for Pi Prime, it's just gotta applaud the effort, but it sort of gets a bit crazy. Pi Prime. Yeah, 5.8. 5.8 at minus 130 is really good. Yeah, Ground, it's like he picks the most obscure stuff, you know? Like LGA 1366 BCLK on cold. I wouldn't put it past him to like freeze a chipset to make sure, you know, see if that makes a difference or whatever. By the way, that's an extreme, not a formula, is it? Yeah. I thought his weapon of choice were formulas. Anyway, fun stage, like good, cool concept. I don't like Overclocked.net actually ended up being quite competitive in the end. So Tag went the old super tight hypers route. How tight are we talking? Not even that tight. Anyway, yeah, Pi Prime I don't think I've run before. So last but not least, another Team Hardware Reactor win. Y Cruncher for 6, 8, and 10 cores. Yeah, I mean, the higher core counts, you just need to efficiency the crap out of it. Ooh, we've got a 195. Nice. As opposed to our 192. So that's a good improvement. Now I want a 5.2, of course. Let's see if it will set at the higher V core. Need to relaunch because I basically just want normal priority. It's doing something. Okay, so that's a hang. I could do reruns. I could. What's up with the BCLK though? I'm not really. Let's actually be a bit cheeky and try this sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, you know, Y Cruncher 2.5B, it's fun. It's fun. What would be a standout type sub? Let's quickly just start our run, make sure everything applied, and start our run. So that was the one thing I picked out that wasn't on LN2. That's 10 core, 4.5 on LN2. Okay, Bullshooter's doing weird shit is all I can say. Let's go on to iGPUs. Last but not least, Okay, so there was an 05 stage, which is what we were talking about earlier, right? Real load. It's sort of almost the opposite, right? It doesn't scale with cores, so I would argue it means that there is no real load. But anyway, that's a controversial statement. So here's Nox's iGPU run second on SS, and of course Team MLG with the new 05 record. Very impressive stuff. So this, I'm going to try and describe what the whole method here is. You can correct me if I'm wrong, which I probably will be. So basically, iGPUs are memory bandwidth bottlenecked. So you want to run as high memory frequency as possible. Having fewer ranks per DIMM allows for that. So what Mick did here was run 4 single rank sticks instead of 2 dual rank sticks in order to get a stable 2933 result. Yeah, but it seems to like high frequency as well, right? 2933 is getting up there. Anyway, yeah, a mix, basically. Basically, running these 1 gigabyte single rank sticks allowed you to run both tighter and higher memory, right? 3250, yeah, I mean, there's diminishing returns. Yeah, and then after that, you just clock the crap out of the GPU. 4790K, I wish I had one. Then again, I degraded my 4690K. I don't really like Devil's Canyon that much. They're a bit too fragile. So yeah, like if we look at the ranking, True by 2 and Impact. Yeah, I have a couple of impacts. Maybe I should give this a go. There's obviously older scores, like even like, ooh. Oh, we have 2 subbers in the chat. So here's the other approach of just throwing LN2 at it. Four by 2. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, pretty much all I have is just the SAMI. The regular SAMI stuff. So higher, so 1900. But yeah, obviously these like regular sort of SAMI timings and speeds are not up to snuff. Cool stage. Like just the whole idea of having an entire iGPU section is pretty cool. Okay, so we have a pass, so we just need to run off a real time. Yeah, iGPU is crazy like that. Even on something like DDR3 AMD iGPUs, you go like to tertiaries and lower a timing by 1 or 2 steps, and then suddenly you get a 500-point jump. It's just crazy. So Skydiver was what I was benching until the very end of the comp. By the way, I really mean the very end of the comp. So if you go to comp entries right now, the last entry of the entire comp was by me, like 5 minutes before the end. I was Prograsti benching. I mean, it could even be down to the IMC, right? Like you could have, let's say everyone has the same board and the same chip. You know, if you were just passing around the same board and chip, but someone was one was given the task of doing it with 1 gigabyte sticks, and the other one with like regular SAMIs. It could just be that like a particular chip likes a particular IC. So Skydiver was the thing I just subbed recently. A bit of a shame. We could have gotten second. I mean, the Ukrainians have always had a really good, really strong FM2 game. Like this is solid stuff. 9K on Kaveri, like a 69% overclock. This is like anything like 1200 is really good. So we're never going to catch them. Warp 9 we could have caught. It was just that I had to sub a 5K run instead of a 7K run because all my boards refused to set clocks and stuff. And I made the mistake of hanging on to the 6800K too long and like clocking the 6800K. Yeah, I've heard bad things about hypers on Haswell and Devil's Canyon. But yeah, it could be. So that was a Heaven Extreme run, which is fun. I only just heard of that. What's even allowed? Just anything. DDR4. Yeah, Renoir, Cezanne, that kind of stuff. Any cool like cold subs? Oh, someone in OCN did something cold. No, 5,000 was allowed. So Yoss did an LN2 sub, and someone managed. Who's this person? This person knows what they're doing because they managed to outdo the two LN2 subs. That's nice. 196. God damn it. Just peeling away the points one by one. AJBG. Not sure what that is. Is that hyper as well? I mean, the logical next step is C8, right? Okay, let's get through this remainder of this Country Cup. Last but not least, Night Ray DDR4. I ran a 11900K on this. But Hyro reacted 1. So what was the determining factor here? Bullshooter with the 17K. I thought I had, maybe not. Meanwhile, we boot C8. I had a 13K. What was, so it's 16, 2000. Oh, he ran like full pot. Okay, so Cascade. Okay, yeah. So Cascade and then Comet. What's Comet? So 2 cold subs on the 2 latest gens, while we had some sort of a mobile thing. I like Night Raid. I really do. 8, 10, 10. That's crazy. Alpida DDR2. It acts similar, but less obviously. Okay, I think this is gonna pass, but I don't know if it's gonna really give me that bump that I want. I'm almost sort of scared. Well, let's first sort of talk like a cool Team Cup. I hope this format stays until next year. I don't know if they'll still have the reduced number of submissions format. It's sort of interesting because it lets you sort of dominate a stage by just freezing everything a lot more easily than usually the case in Team Cup. But let's see. I mean, I think overall, I mean, I had a lot of fun running stuff for it. As always, there was stuff like the Y Cruncher 2.4 5B. I wish I had some time left to run. But yeah, in general, really fun. I don't know, I think you guys probably had some fun too. But yeah. Cool comp, good stages overall. Just gonna wait for this run to finish. Just to give an idea, so I think my latest non-real-time run was a 92 or something. I would want like a 94, 95 for it to have a chance of hitting 200 real time. But that's gonna be it. I think I'm not gonna. I mean, what could I do next? Like a C7 run or something? I'm almost scared to look up people's scores. Wrong thing. A6400K. Phew, that was the chip I had in there earlier. That would have been scary bad efficiency. Oh, so there's a 245. That's probably Cascade or single stage though. And then 2. Oh, League. That's right. Oof. So the top. Oh, what an interesting coincidence. The top ambient score on this very chip in this very bench is by Aussie. RIP. I almost don't want to beat it now. Let's have a look what he was running. So Crossblade, custom water 5.4. Oof. Probably not overkill then, not real time then. 1.76, that looks like, oh, but north, okay, so this is like a core only overclock because you've got your RAM frequency way too low and your north bridge way too low. So that's the influence of those. Yeah, so Aussie record and an ambient record right now if all pans out. What's keeping fun skills back? Let's give him a posthumous like. I don't know if this is creepy or nice, but well done, mate. So single stage. Yeah, right. I mean, if you're gonna run a, okay, let's quickly start our real-time run. If you're gonna run a DDR3 platform even somewhat seriously, you need ICs capable of 2400 plus. Be that PSC or even GDI or whatever the one gigabit IC is called. SAMIs. You need SAMIs or PSC basically, or just good BBSC. Maybe this person didn't really care. They thought, oh, you know, maybe at the time it was the Gold Cup, and they were like, oh, I got the Gold Cup 5.3 on SS, just blasted, great. But yeah, that's not going to cut it. What did friend of the channel? Ooh, the Wi-Fi board. Wasn't even sure if he had one. Mr. Bilko, single channel. Okay, that must have been like a GD, whatever. Look, I don't own that IC, you know. I don't own a BBSC either, you know. Basically, for the big points, which not everyone goes for. I know other people like doing niche stuff, but for the big points, all you'll ever need is regular SAMIs and PSC and hypers for the lower end stuff. That's all. Those, you can have a kit of each, or maybe 2 kits if you need to run quad channel. But a kit of each of these 3 will cover absolutely everything. I feel like freezing this chip now. Seems like a pretty good chip. We're at 5.2, I think, and I mean, Aussie did 5.4, but it just seems like a. Is he really shoving that many volts through? I mean, for dual core, I can see that sort of working. I really can. I mean, let's say weird LLC or whatever, maybe it's like 1.7 is actually set. I could see that working on H2O. I forgot it was Friday. Sean Nathan, welcome anyway. You can watch the replay. Come on, run, please just complete. So that's if and when this run completes, that's going to be the end of that. It's a shame there's just not like enough points in this. I mean, the Cinebench 11.5. What's the frequency record? 7.6. That's a lot. League on LN2. Could go for the top ambient score in this. See, the problem with real-time benching is I never know, is it hung or is it still running? How long should I give it? I'm gonna start a timer. I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes. On LN2, I'd be timing this. I'd time a run that is non-real time. Take down that number and then start a countdown. Oh, here we go, 196. Well, that's sort of a poetic note to end on. 196, same score as Aussie. Already had a 196, so the tightening didn't help. There we go, guys. Here's our score. I should save this just for EPing though, like CL8 on semis, you know. Let's do that. It could be a fractional. It could be like, you know, CL8 gave me a half a point or whatever, but Cinebench doesn't work like that. So maybe my previous score was a 195.9, which is rounded up to 196, and then I gain half a point, and now I'm at 195.4, which still rounds down to 196.4, which still rounds down to 196. And let's also, just for EPing, put our team groups in here. Here we go. Maximum EPing. Let's do it like this. Whoop-de-doo. So, thank you for watching. Next week's stream will still be in lockdown, but will potentially be the last stream in lockdown, because I think it's Tuesday the 11th or Monday the 11th. They're lifting some of the restrictions. But yeah, one more lockdown stream to go for sure, and I'm really hoping my cards arrive in time so I can do some 754 Sempron binning. That's my plan so far. I also kind of want to do XTU 2.0. I think that would be a fun one to run. I ran it on LN2 on the 11900K. Actually, that was fun. Got a cheap first place there, but there's harbor points being given out now. So for 754, I've got just a Zeus Via board, nothing too special. DFI NF3. I used to have one, but it's just so, it's the market, like you know, Germany, right, has 80 million people, so Australia's market is like a third of that. So in 4 years of benching, I've never found a LAN party 754, but it's not going to matter for just pure core. GDI, okay. Well, have fun, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And hopefully see you next Friday.